Welcome everyone. Today is a big old question. Do we accept the freedom to say one or two spicy things in a private group chat where no one who could possibly be offended by them is? That's the big question for today, and here to help me answer this incredibly difficult and complicated question is Aiden. Welcome, Aiden.
Hello.
Aiden, what's your favorite word that you're not allowed to say anywhere?
Oh, gee. Oh, there's so many. I like to get into the rare gamer words, you know, like the ones that you don't see as often. I mean, anyone can drop an N or an F, but you have to go for the more obscure ones, the esoteric ones.
Ah, I see. Esoteric slurring. Actually, I think I was quite clear. What esoteric slurs would you prefer then? Because we do have.
Maybe not.
Oh no! Please, by all means, you're free to speak here. We do have.
I don't want to start by saying slurs.
Well, it's fine. It's only the first 30 seconds, or YouTube. You fine with that?
Wait,
it will never scan.
Aren't you trying to get more people to watch your streams? I mean, I don't know. That might help, or it might be a really bad idea.
It might. It might overall not help. Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
Maybe you shouldn't say. I don't think they care after like about an hour or so at this point. Maybe an hour and a half. Someone dropped a hard R on our stream the other week. My friend Shade, he called the Irish. What was it again? Potato ends, just straight up on my stream. I had to go ahead and clip it out, but it didn't get to when I went and I closed the stream afterwards. It was still all green, fully monetized.
Well, Massa hadn't noticed.
I guess not. Well, are you just allowed to call the Irish that?
Maybe. I mean, that would be justified. I mean, given...
Are you allowed to use the N-word if the word Irish, or potato in this case, appears before it?
Well, there is one way that you're allowed to use the N-word universally, and all you have to do is put one phoneme, well, two phonemes, one syllable in front of it. If you put the in front of it, it's legal.
You're right.
Yeah. What do you like on your chips, chat? Well, lots of things, but I know some people like vinegar.
I do, honestly. It's like my favorite thing to have on chips.
Sorry, you like what on chips?
Vinegar.
Ah, there you go.
I also drink vinegar. I love vinegar.
Wow, she said it 3 times, chat. She's really
vinegar
racist.
Is my favorite condiment, honestly.
And what color is it?
Depends on what kind of vinegar. I'm a connoisseur, so it depends. Is it apple cider vinegar? There's pomegranate vinegar. I've had that. It's very good. It's red. There's also red wine vinegar, which is also red. You know, of course, you've got the classic white distilled vinegar. You could really make vinegar out of anything. Ah,
so there can be albinos sometimes, can they?
I've never had not like an actual white vinegar that was.
What if you had
the
like
color white, but it's clear,
like dark vinegar, but with like white
like
on
balsamic?
top? So,
okay,
like the kind of woman you like.
Yeah.
I guess. Well, I guess we've gone where we're going to go with it. I guess that the answer is you would drink that down. Let's see.
Yeah, I enjoy all colors and varieties of vinegar.
Wow. Chat, press 1 to congratulate.
Opportunity vinegar enjoyer.
Congratulate Aiden for being such a brave anti-racist.
I don't know what it has to do with racism.
Of course.
I just like vinegar.
Speaking of none of that, there's a post here from someone which says depicts this image. Aiden, what do you know about this image?
I'm going to do it. All right, to be honest, I think I'm going to do a stream about this tomorrow. Just this image. I think it probably is going to go on for like 3 hours because I not only need to now dissect, and Bill and I are going to do it, dissect everything lore-wise that is wrong with this image, but also the insane thread, not just the insane thread that is around my post on it, but I don't know. I think it's because of the Hassan stuff. I genuinely think that's why. The Collargate thing has been going on for over a week, and the commies are freaking the fuck out. So they've just found this one thing, and they found this one thing to latch onto and have a complete spurg over. And I think a large reason of the spurg is because, well, I don't think they know what else to do. So the problem with this But there's a lot of problems with this image. First of all, I'm pretty sure the drawing itself was sketched or drawn with AI and then it's been traced over. There's so much coloring outside of the lines in it. Or this might be a more complete version, but it's just very sloppy.
It is sloppy.
Like pretty much
it's a sketch.
everything.
It looks like it's pre-complete.
There is a finished version that Wizards is selling. Wizards of the Coast, of course, the company that owns Dungeons and Dragons. You can get it on a game mat, and I think on some other products. So here's problem number one. You can see in the background. Yeah, game. In the background, we can see there's a crumbling tower because I saw some people say, "Well, it's a celebration after the end of a war or something." So they've even invited the Beholder, but we'll get there.
Did they defeat the Straits?
I don't know what they defeated, but I don't think the war is over, considering there is still a dragon in the background and a crumbling tower.
Oh, dragons are nice. They like gay orgies in the middle of the street.
Not that one.
Just like Beholders.
It's a chromatic dragon. It's a chromatic dragon, which makes it evil for the most part. And it's also a blue dragon, which are masters of illusion and like hallucination magic.
So the whole scene is actually induced by the dragon.
Well, do you know something else that does mind control is that little orange ball that is looking very happily on the side there. That's a beholder.
Is this biological, do you think, this heart, or is this magic?
I've only seen that in hentai.
Yeah. So, wait, you've seen hentai? I mean, what's hentai?
Well, what? So beholders are infamously, and it's D&D, so things are categorical. They are lawful evil, and they are xenophobic. The only things they like are themselves, and by that I mean literally, it's self. They don't like other beholders. They don't like anything that are even slightly. The way that they reproduce is they just kind of bud off.
This is why the leftists
they can't even
like
tolerate
them.
their own species. Yeah, I guess. There's other things. There's also I don't know what the pink-haired bard is supposed to be besides gay, but I think you could make an argument that might be a gnome. I mean, it's hard to tell, but if that's a gnome, if you go to the right, there's something very messed up there. Those are kobolds. Kobolds and gnomes hate each other and have like an everlasting blood feud. There's also people in the background doing magic, which they can't do in the vicinity of a beholder. Now, I get that it's like, oh, it's just a cute little bit of art or whatever, I suppose. That's the argument for this. However, the implication that is being very strongly made by the crumbling tower, the blue dragon, the beholder, gnomes and kobolds getting along is that this is a town that has been taken over by the forces of evil, which chooses to depict itself with a massive public display of homosex. What did they mean by this? And the crazy thing is that in me pointing that out, I've spent the whole day just getting the most insane leftoids being angry at me. And it's like, I didn't make this. Wizards of the Coast made this and posted it and made merchandise with it. So if you don't like the implication that, which it appears to me that they are associating homosexuality with symbols of evil, a blue dragon specifically, illusion magic, and a beholder, which like mind rapes people and are pure evil. Well, I mean, that's a you problem. It's not me. I'm not upset by it or anything. It's just what an odd thing to draw, right? But they're mad at me and anyone else pointed out, and have been having a collective mass level spurg out on Twitter. Again, not just at me, but like at anyone talking about this for the past 18 hours or so. Real meltdown hours. Yeah, crazy.
All I want to say is that it's a D&D colored skin suit being worn by the pro-disgust crowd.
Yeah. Oh, also the buildings are trans flag colors.
Well, up here is close enough to trans flag colors, bunting.
That's it on the.
Yeah.
Now, also the flowers on the desk, or on the desk, on the barrel in the foreground.
Yeah, next to the elderly lesbians.
Next to the elderly lesbians, I'm pretty sure that that's Ruellia tuberosa, which is a flower that is used to treat chlamydia and also uses an abortifacient. I'm not joking. Like they
Quick question,
everything in this image is gay. Everything in it is like a weird, fucked up message. I don't. It's so many. It's the confluence of variables in this image that makes it kind of amazing. I actually sort of love it just for being such a perfect representation of modern D&D.
Aiden, do you know more about horticulture in the real world or in D&D?
Well, that's a real flower.
I see. Fair
so,
enough.
And it's just a guess. It just looks a lot like it, and it's interesting. And one thing that made it stand out is that it was one of the only things that was colored in correctly and drawn a little bit less haphazardly, as if they put some. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, that looks like
Do you see what
fucking
I mean?
clip art.
They've actually put some, which makes me think that's actually supposed to be that flower.
They put this here first and then built the image around it.
That is used to treat STDs and is as an abortifacient, to cause a self-termination of a pregnancy. Yeah. So I don't know if that's what they meant by that, but it seems strangely like clip art that does not match everything else around it for it to be a complete accident. That might be a little schizo posting, but again, it's everything else in it. I don't think there's a single heterosexual couple in this either. It's just all gay. Anyone who's flirting. There's also an owlbear in the background, which is kind of strange, but that's like low amongst the things that are weird.
You've got all of the SJW archetypes here. You've got the frumpy nerd. You've got the controlling woman. You've got the utterly devoid of testosterone ginger, because you can't have him be ginger unless he has no testosterone. And then you've got the token tough-looking white guy who probably likes cuckoldry.
Well, that's Ian Gemma right there.
How close was I on the cuckoldry guess? And none of them appear to be in contact directly. So yeah, there's no implication of straightness here. But if there was, she'd be wearing the trousers.
Well, if you do the line analysis, like in terms of the lean, the one woman is leaning towards the other.
I don't believe there's anything to that.
No, I think that's going a little bit too far with it, and you really don't need to, because everything else about it is just so. What did they mean by this?
Aiden, I think your perspective on this would be totally inverse if this one had different color hair, perhaps white hair.
Well, I'm upset with that one, which I think is supposed to be a tiefling, because how is she casting magic in front of the beholder?
It might not be magic, it might just be petals, but then where are the petals coming from? She's got
the other one to the left, the other brown lady to the left, she's casting a flower magic.
Can beholders choose not to suppress magic?
I was wondering
Or
that.
is it just innate? Couldn't they just be like,
I think
evil here, so let's be magical together?
I mean, because that is the implication, right? That everyone here is evil. Why else would the beholder be so happy?
Maybe the beholder's the only real one here, and the rest of it is just the dragon's illusions.
Fucking shit.
If our Bill's telling me not to reveal shit for the stream tomorrow, well, we could do it.
If Bill wants to be a guest on the stream, he can, ask.
No, he's got a stream of his own tonight, or a game or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's just I don't know. And I also like to use any opportunity that talk about Wizards of the Coast to remind you that this nice, happy, lovely, very gay friendly, left wing coded image was produced and made by the company that 2 years ago accidentally. Well, apparently it was Hasbro's fault. No, it was Amazon's fault. It was anyone but Wizards of the Coast fault. Whatever. Someone along the line sent a box of Magic the Gathering cards to a guy who reviews Magic the Gathering cards for a living.
Yeah. And
rather than, I don't know, tell him, hey, you can't review those yet, or could you take that video down or whatever, Wizards of the Coast hired the Pinkertons detective agency, sent them to his house. They showed up armed, threatened him and his family, essentially at gunpoint of, you can let us in or else, essentially, dug through his garbage to make sure they could find even the foil that the cards came in, confiscated everything, turned his house upside down. That's your nice, happy, friendly, left-wing LGBTQIA plus company that they are currently simping for over this stupid image.
If they had a couple functioning brain cells, they could have just took the free advertisement. Like,
no.
Well, we accidentally sent this guy a free box of cards, and he likes it. So here you go, free advertisement.
Yeah, the guy he was a Magic the Gathering channel. I think he still does it. So his livelihood depends on, to an extent, Wizards of the Coast, and they threatened his life and his livelihood with that. And then he ended up basically apologizing for it, because he doesn't want to lose his job the way he makes money. by reviewing cards, but I don't know how you could ever work with Wizards again after that.
They sent assassins to my house, but
Essentially,
they do have quite a nice sponsorship program, so it's fine.
Well, I actually don't know. I think he still has to pay for the cards.
Well, I would change profession at that point, to be honest.
Because I'm pretty sure the Pinkertons initially were most known for annihilating commies, and now they're working for them. What a strange
I had somebody, I am not joking today, in this Twitter thread. There is a person whose name has the word, Twitter handle has the word socialist in it, and has a hammer and sickle in their bio defending this behavior and saying companies are made up of individuals. It's not just a mass. Unironically defending the individual agency of all the people who make up a company. You can't make a broad generalization about a company that does something like that because it's a bunch of individuals, says the communist. What? What is happening?
I can see some sort of argument for that.
A multi-billion-dollar corporation.
I can see some sort of argument for that, but when the prosecution is dealing with them, I would hope that they look at both the individual and the company-wide. The company's liable for the actions that its officers take, and the individual should be in prison.
His argument wasn't just specifically about this. It was all companies are just a bunch of individuals. Wizards is just a company that's made up of individuals, which isn't, again, the extra layer of irony.
Either way, it's both. What
I'm expecting, really insane responses.
Yes. What I'm expecting to hear in response to our distaste over this image is, wow, you guys just hate fun. So I want to respond to that, because that's not too difficult to respond to. You could depict the brutal murder and rape of innocent people while everyone in the picture's smiling. I'm afraid to say, though, it's subtle. That's what you've done here, because this kind of thing decays a society from the inside out.
Well, if the beholder, there are strong implications because of the choices they've made in this art, that these people are being psychically manipulated, that there's illusion spells going on. That's the implication, however, that through many of the different aspects of this image that Wizards has made in it, intentionally or not, which, I would think that you would get mad at Wizards for doing this, and not at the people who are like, holy shit, they're so woke and they so are so completely unattached or detached from their own source material. Because the most common response I got was, well, beholders are the mascot of D&D, so you expect them to be in stuff, so it doesn't matter. Lore doesn't matter, which is actually usually the go-to, is you're autistic, no one cares about lore, lore is for nerds, let me into your hobby. And let me tell you how your hobby should work. And also you need to get out. The
main point of anything is simply to validate the shitty, bad choices of degenerates who have been conned into chopping their penises off. That's what everything is actually for, after all.
Yeah, of course.
If your politics are the same as a multi-billion-dollar corporation, you should probably just kill yourself.
Yeah, but they're the freedom fighters. They're the little guy.
Mm-hmm.
They have no representation or anything.
I guess a couple days ago, Alaska got hit by a pretty big storm, and no one seems to be talking about it.
Is that in this picture, though, Ted?
Sorry,
that's all right, Ted. If you have a link, let me know. Maybe I'll open it and we'll have a look at it later. We have a lot to go through today, though, already. So that's that picture. I think we've said our piece on it. Let them do their thing.
Multi-hour-long stream.
What is the point of this company existing if the only people it's actually interested in serving are the tiny, tiny portion of the most mentally ill in society who need their mental illness and their poor choices constantly validated by depicting rot and decay as good?
I got to tell you one more thing I noticed in all the responses is that the people who were most adamant, who kept posting tweet after tweet after tweet, getting into arguments with everybody, me and anyone else in that thread, were people who eventually, because they're posting so much, all admitted that they have never played D&D, that they have never purchased a product from Wizards of the Coast, that they're not interested in any products from Wizards of the Coast. So it's like, well, no wonder your freaking company is going bankrupt. These people they have no interest in purchasing your shit. They just outright say it. And did I tag them in one of them just saying like, Yeah, these people don't buy it, and the people that do buy it have pretty much stopped doing it for this exact reason. Because you keep saying, we hate you, we don't want your money, we want money from these people who will not give it to us. Brilliant strategy there.
Yeah, we are most definitely at the point now where companies ought to start, if they want to do some performative bullshit to get more traction, it ought to start being right-wing performative bullshit at this point, which is, again, the sort of the start of the next questionable to maybe dark era of corporate politics. But
I think you're going to see
it's at least different, and we need the pendulum to swing back, both politically, which it arguably has, and also culturally, which is next to come.
Will you agree that the woke has been put away if you start seeing some kind of equivalent to this, what with conservative messaging, and it's all a bunch of D&D characters worshiping Jesus?
Put away by the people, yes.
There's thousands of people responding to this, defending it.
Yes, but they are the significant minority, I expect, when it comes to what they'd overall prefer. I mean, most normies wouldn't have a stance on this. People that actually fund Wizards of the Coast, probably majority would agree with us. People that have played D&D at some point, probably like 75% of them would agree with us.
I think, I don't know what Wizards is going to do. I think they're donezo. All they've been doing with Magic now for the last couple of years is these stupid tie-in crossover events with IPs like Final Fantasy and etc. There've been a ton of them, and I don't even think those are selling that well at this point. I know the Lord of the Rings one was crazy because the One Ring, there was exactly one printed and it sold for millions of dollars or something crazy. But it's all just gimmicky shit now. That's the only way they can make money is essentially they've stopped being a card game. It is now, I mean, it's always been a trading card game, but now it is just the trading aspect. I don't think there's anyone who buys this stuff for the game anymore to actually play it. And it's sad because I love Magic. I fucking love Magic the Gathering and I love D&D. So, oh well.
Every time a company gets too big and too uncompetitive, they get complacent. Not just company, any entity that does this, get complacent and then they get outcompeted. We just need a market that is just liberalized enough, just open and free enough that innovation can overcome. And it will. Thank you, Hokuma.
Well, I think it will appear that way. I disagree on the impetus.
Has all innovation
in
all of human history been a conspiracy?
It's not what I said. It's also not a conspiracy.
Close.
It's not. It doesn't have to be the kind of conspiracy brain stuff that I know that framing, and maybe it's worth it trying to come up with a better framing of it.
Well, it just depends where you're.
I won't belabor it.
Where you're assigning agency. You could assign agency to overlords. You could assign agency to the people. I opt for a bit of both. And it sounds like a lot of the time you opt for just the overlords. Bobby asks, how's a free market going to fix itself with corporatism around? Corporatism isn't an impediment to a free market. It's an impediment, but it's not a definite impediment. There's a limited amount of time that you can use money to prevent a market from being competitive. The only end to that, if they succeed, is Western society collapses. But I don't think it's going to come to that. I don't think they have enough money or enough power to keep the market down forever.
They do. BlackRock funds this stuff.
Yeah, but they don't have infinite liquid capital. They've got a lot of investments, but the more they start selling off of that, the less they're going to have to actually spend on this. But DEI is the only reason.
A lot of money.
ESG is the only reason this happened in the first place, let alone has gone on this long. It's they don't have infinite money, and it costs a lot to do this, and the cost is going up the more people reject it. So I think that's already coming to an end, the ESG. I think what we're seeing now is mostly still just what's left over that was already funded. Not entirely, but I think it's on a decline.
That is true, though, and that's why, like, particularly in video games, when we do talk about putting the woke away, again, whatever you will, if you want to think that's totally naturalistic, if you want to think it's totally by a shadowy cabal of people or whatever, or some mix in between, which is it's a combination of factors. But whatever the case is, like with video games and movies, well, those things take years to make. So you're going to continue to see woke slop video games and movies for years.
Yeah.
But did you see the report that came out about the LGBTQ and trans identification in America between 2020 and 2025?
Sure.
It just came out. It illustrates my. Oh shit, that won't work because that's my personal fault. That's my. Whoops, I linked to my desktop. Let me download it again. Whoopsie. Where is this? Oh, right, it's in that
Aiden.
path that I just posted. Yeah, excuse me.
Aiden. Do you remember that time
don't worry about
that Feminist Frequency did like a UN report and some of their sources were like local addressed files?
Local. Yeah, here it is. It was in my downloads folder.
Are you? Oh, do you know? I reckon I know where on your PC
Here
that
it
was
is.
stored.
Yeah.
It's good to know that you, like I often do, and like probably most of the audience do, store most of your important stuff just dumped in the downloads folder somewhere.
Well, I wasn't planning on using it for anything. Don't tell Outreach about this.
They'll fucking
a lot of personal-
DDoS your drywall. They will.
Yeah, I know. Very generic fucking file extension. But yeah, there it is, and they're just some graphs, but that does illustrate that basically we have passed peak woke, and nature is healing.
Sig Puppy, what if Jewish values and ESG values are similar because they originate from a common source, rather than Jewish values being the common source? See, it's compatible with your theory, and yet it's not the same. And I suspect that is the case. I suspect it's what I often say, which is psychopaths pursue power. Once they get it, they try to hold on to it. And probably there's a greater tendency for Jews to be psychopaths than any other race.
So let me give you an example. The concept of modern communism actually goes back to the concept of the Jewish kibbutz. Are you familiar with what that is?
Don't think so.
I sure am.
Yes.
Well, then
it is
I'm the dumbass you'll have to
Jewish
educate.
commune.
Okay.
Kibbutz are actually closer to like anarcho-capitalism though than they are communism, but they can only exist functionally as much as they do function within the Israeli state. They need a broader level state to protect them and allow them to function as tiny ANCAP havens.
Yeah, it's rather funny, isn't it?
Yeah, it's strange that. That's why I became a monarchist, because I was like, would be cool. How do you get ANCAPistan? You need to have ANCAPistan in a monarchy. I'm being a bit facetious.
Yeah, it can't exist
obviously.
in a vacuum.
I have that, Solace. Yeah, every culture has had communes in its past. They're called tribes. But even that's not necessarily a commune, because it's still distributing resources according to the ability of those in it to some extent. Merit is pretty fundamental to the biological condition.
And they're extremely homogenous. It's small. You're talking about very small, tight-knit communities of people who are distantly related to each, and I mean not what we consider distantly related today, but cousins and second and third cousins, etc. People who have shared genetic history, people who have a reason to be invested in the well-being of the other people in their small society, and in that case, sure. But that's essentially, in some ways, also like how an anarcho-capitalist system, such as in the kibbutz, operates as well.
And I found some suspicious characters. These are
said every relationship.
These are also drawn within the lines.
Oh, interesting. They are, and they. Well, I don't know. The official finished art is available because I said they made a playmat for it, and all of the lines are filled in properly there. I don't know why Wizards chose to tweet out the clearly unfinished version. Not that the finished version looks a hell of a lot better, but it's at least they managed to color in the lines.
Maybe they're trying to prove that it's not AI.
That's probably it. Even though dollars to donuts, AI drew the image and they traced over it.
Possibly, but
which
not
would
certainly
explain maybe some of the bizarre things in it. Although, again, like the fact that the flowers look photoshopped in or strangely out of place, that's what tipped me
probably
off.
What's
what kind of flowers are those?
This is just an in development render of the picture, and some stuff they've done the final color pass on, and some stuff they haven't, and that's it. That's fine. Like I would suspect, despite all the things wrong with this, it's probably human made from start to finish, and this is just a snapshot from halfway through the process. And some stuff is drawn better than other stuff. I suspect that's the case, and that doesn't have to not be the case for it to be as evil as it looks. However, this guy's leg looks weirdly disproportionate. I don't know if that's realistic, but it's. I think with shadows it would be more sensical to perceive this, but again, initially I thought this was probably AI because of that leg, but it's possible it's not. I think it probably isn't.
It's definitely, if it was AI at some point, it's clearly been traced over. And that probably, I think you're actually completely correct that that's probably why they posted the unfinished rough draft of it with the colors, the lines all wonky to be like, look, it's not AI, because the people they are trying to pander to have a really big problem with AI art, since all of them are artists.
So they
or
definitely,
aspiring artists.
Yeah, they definitely could have started with a render of like an AI render of the scene and then gone from there, either tracing stuff or modifying it completely. But at that point,
or rendered individual
all
parts
they've
and then
used,
put them all together.
Sure, but at that point, all they've used the AI for is composition hint, which is honestly fine.
Maybe
and the
not
rest
even.
of it's drawn themselves. Like every character here, despite the issues with the lore, every character here is visually consistent with the lore of the game for the most part.
Maybe not
like,
that half
they
orc
wouldn't,
or orc. I don't know what the fuck is going on with that orc twink.
Despite the exceptions, my point is that if they just asked AI to do it, it would have given a random assortment of generic fantasy characters, many of which would have looked very similar to each other. Having one character on here that's totally different than the others, but still within the D&D lore, an AI wouldn't do that, or very unlikely. So either it's carefully composited, like bits of differently generated AI characters stuck in together, which is less effort than drawing it by hand, but honestly still quite a lot of effort, or it's just drawn by hand. And I think it's drawn by hand. I think it's genuine. But even if it was AI,
the most bizarre part to me is that they are defending to the death this company, and despite the fact that and getting mad at people for noticing the implicit. These are the people who are like media literacy. Wow, it's the message. All art is political. Not this one though. It's just a cute drawing. Yeah, that's interesting, right? As you said. Anyway.
So the
very dumb and
just one more thing before we finish off. The transcolor bunting up here. Given the color grading of the image, it's possible that that's meant to be red, but it's very possible it's not. And of course, you've got some over here which are also red. But as I said, that could be because different parts of the image were in different stages of development.
Go back. No, they're rainbow. On the left, it's a rainbow flag, or it's rainbow flags, and on the right, it's trans flags.
Yes, I know. I'm just saying it's possible.
I'm just saying it seems a bit intentional, but I guess it's possible. Just one side is the rainbow, one side is the trans flag. That's pretty consistent with what they do.
Yeah, you got a rainbow in the sky as well. Yeah, I think I think we get the gist of this image. Should we see what else I managed to pick up today? Oh yeah. Hey, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you see this? Don't say ooh woo.
Ew. No.
Well,
ew.
you said half of it.
No woo. No woo. No woo.
Only ooh, no woo. Okay, understood.
Yeah.
It sounds like a Jedi Master at this point.
What the fuck?
Dubai unveils plans for a $9 billion gold-plated, diamond-encrusted skyscraper, which, for those listening at home, looks like a very expensive bad dragon.
Oh my god, I didn't even read the comment. I just said it without even looking at the fucking comment underneath.
Yeah. First comment, rib for her pleasure, and then the UAE responds with, "Women will not be allowed in this structure."
Unfathomably based.
They built the world's biggest dildo and then disallowed women from going anywhere near it. That's kind of funny, actually.
They had to outdo England, to be fair. They had the largest butt plug.
It's not a. It's compatible with either. Go on.
That the Arabs are the gays.
The Arabs are the gays.
Defending the butt plug, I see.
It's not necessarily a butt plug.
Issues with polygamous societies. Beyond that, the least
what's that stupid thing called?
Is it
That's
also
Ted.
encourages homosexuality?
No,
I mean, you have a bunch of guys with
plug in London.
wives. You have a bunch of guys with no wives.
The gherkin.
Either they're going to get violent or they're going to get gay.
Yes, you are correct about that, Ted. Or bestial. In a lot of poor countries with polygamy, as you say, they fuck goats, which is where the meme comes from.
Something Colombian donkeys.
Something Colombian donkeys, exactly. We watched the Grand Tour Colombia special a few days ago. Exactly.
It's excellent. Well, all of the Grand and Grand Trippy are good.
I'm sorry, what? Grand Trippy?
How have you not seen Bottom Gear
I have seen Bottom Gear.
and Grand Trip?
I haven't seen Grand
With
Trip.
the sequel, Grand Trippy.
I haven't seen that actually.
You should.
That sounds funny. I like Bottom Gear.
I
That's
love
very
Bottom
good.
Gear.
Yeah. Enigmatic is in chat right now. Do you have a new Bottom Gear meme for us? Or can we refresh an old one that we can read out to show Aiden? All right. Ah, yes. No serial number. It looks like it's covered with tape.
Yeah, it's a real mystery.
It's a real mystery. I do appreciate how well they've integrated it into the game's graphics.
Yeah. Looks like they rendered
So-
it or something. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Look at the wall. There's AI was involved.
Oh yeah.
Still, it's very good. And this, in case you weren't listening, in case you weren't paying attention, is, I believe, a reference to the Zapdogs incident.
Dude, it has been a wild ride to watch as the story about this, about Collargate, has changed every 12 hours for the past 9 days. I mean, there's so many stories now about what happened exactly, which is, okay, here's what happened. Hassan Piker uses a shock collar on his dog to keep it in frame so that he looks more like a human being when he's sitting there screaming about gutting people and letting their red capitalist bloods spill all over the street.
Specifically
and if you
politicians.
really cared,
Specifically
you would
named
kill
politicians.
Yes, kill Rick Scott. All of that stuff. So he has a humanizing element of the dog sitting in the background. There's no way around it. So I think his plot and plan at this point is just to come up with so many excuses as to drown it in the sea of bullshit.
Sometimes all you
I don't know if it's
need
working.
is a counterclaim. And if you have a massive audience and you give them just a range of counterclaims to choose from, they can just disperse whichever one they prefer.
Yeah, they'll pick one, which is, I mean, it's when you see them talk about it, though, it's hilarious how schizophrenic the conversation now is, because none of them can keep up, or it's very difficult to keep up with what is the narrative today. Because I think yesterday it was, it's not a shock collar button. He's opening the dog gate, which is why she's yelping in pain, because he's opening the dog gate. And yeah, I think that's where we're at now. It was Zins, he was reaching for his Zins, which he never took. And then it was, I don't even know what else. There's been so many different things just about like what the button press was. Look, he shocks his dog.
He
He's
sure
admitted
does.
to owning a shock collar. And it's so fucking obvious. And now he's on this pity me party, which is unbelievable, where he's like, well, all of my training has been undone. There's nothing I can do. She's just going to be a bad dog now. It's like, yeah, good. That's what we wanted. Stop shocking your dog, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
Dude, it's not complicated.
Stop shocking your dog, dude. that's really not good. As I said, the shock collar is arguably not animal abuse if used exactly right. If it's used for preventing its death or something, that wasn't that. The main torture there, the main animal abuse there, was forcing it to stay in place for hours and hours and hours at a time.
Yeah, and using it on her. Apparently, I mean, there's been so many clips where it looks like she's just not cute. She's not sitting cute enough. She's not in frame enough. You can see that he looks at it. You can see him do it. He looks in the viewfinder. He's looking at his own camera, and then he turns over and he's talking about something, loses his says the first part of a sentence, loses his train of thought, goes, and you can see him reach for what looks like the button, presses it, completely loses his train of thought at this point, and then restarts the sentence after he sees the dog starts to move back into frame. I mean, and that's like, you would need to use a shock collar, typically for a dog that has behavioral issues that aren't solvable
Serious
by
ones,
any other means. Now, he got this dog as a puppy, so it's not to say that there aren't potential behavioral issues just because of the dog's temperament or something, but for the most part, yeah, any trainer would tell you that shock collars are useful in certain scenarios, but typically it's for dogs where nothing else works.
Yeah,
and if you've got a dog
usually
since
a last resort.
puppyhood, yeah, you should be, and no matter what, you should not be using it to get the dog to sit right in front of the camera. Like a living, Funko Pop.
Indeed.
That's disgusting.
Indeed. Speaking of Bottom Gear comics, Aiden, have you seen... I opened it in the wrong place. have you seen this style of image?
Yeah, I have.
I don't know why Enigmatic chose this one. I believe what he's depicting here is gay porn of Spyro.
Yeah,
for
sure
which,
looks like it.
For which I have issued a denouncement of Enigmatic drawing Spyro, which he should never be allowed to do again. However, this is the one he chose to provide us, so this is the one I shall read out, probably.
Go for
All right.
it.
So, does this one have Aiden in it? I don't think so. No, it doesn't. This is
Oh,
very
thank
old because it
God.
mentions silent. This is from 2022 at the latest. Tonight on Cabal Gear, I rip my Brit Bong Dong to Spyro the Dragon, ex-reader fanfiction. Verdant increases Earth's sea level by deploying the Cabal Minecraft server farm on Antarctica, and Silent attempts to mime time his outer Takeshi Kitano's Doki Doki concentration camp.
Doki Doki concentration camp got me fucked up.
I don't know what these are references to, and I'm not sure I want to. Doki Doki concentration camp is good though. Do you know? You must have been there when I did the Doki Doki streams, Aiden.
Some of it, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, because I found the VODs the other day. Mavis chooses to take this meme literally. How? What does it mean? Explain.
Well, apparently all these things are going to happen tonight.
Tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Enigmatic made loads of these, and if you want to find more chat there in the culture channel, I probably didn't post this one in there because it contains literal fucking scaly porn. What? Did you go and find the scaly porn specifically to post this, Enigmatic? Oh, he's not here currently. Yes. What, by a what, Wormon? Yeah, I believe in the Doki Doki concentration camp, they turned Sayori into a lampshade.
Holy shit.
Are you familiar with the story and characters of Doki Doki Literature Club, Aiden?
Yeah, yeah.
Good.
Of all of the like viral dating sims, though, I mean that's not a dating sim; it's a horror game, but that have that kind of aesthetic. I much prefer Hatful Boyfriend.
I
That's the
haven't
game where you
played
date
that one
pigeons.
yet, but Di says I should.
You should. You should play the pigeon dating sim. I even have a plushie. I have a plushie of one of the one of the pigeons.
Your favorite pigeon, by any chance?
Yes, it was my favorite pigeon.
Okay. Chat. Press 1 if Aiden is proven a bird.
Oh no, I didn't even think about that. Shit.
So with Doki Doki, I was the main character, male, I was voicing, and all of the females were voiced by male people in Cabal with a voice changer, right? Di's suggestion for Hatterful Boyfriend is because the genders of the game are flipped around, I should still play the main character who is female, but then we should get the women of Cabal to play the male birds that you date.
Oh, dude, yeah.
You could play as your favorite burb.
I want to play as my favorite burb.
Well, then, if we ever do that, you're invited.
Unless there's any fighting over it. I don't think there is, though. He's not very popular.
Ah. Like all your favorites.
Depending.
Well,
no,
I must be your
popular.
favorite something, and maybe I'm your favorite wizard. That's why I'm not very popular.
Gandalf, dude. What?
Nah, come on. I think
You're not
I think
even
I
on
can
the
compete.
list. Wait. There's so many cool wizards.
Not even on the list. Well, maybe I'll break my way in.
No, I like some popular male characters, but I actually don't know how popular it's the ghost one. The one that's a ghost. Don't worry, you won't be able to tell. It's like a late game reveal, and you'll forget probably anyway.
You won't be able to tell. Is that what he's saying as he's about to enter the female pigeon?
What? No, no, you're a human. Again, you're a human in the game. A human female, and you're just dating male pigeons.
Is that debatable? Or is that stated? I haven't played it.
It's explicitly stated. It is explicitly stated that you are a test case for human bird integrated schools.
Integrated more than just schools, I feel.
Well, yeah, yeah. But the whole thing is that, yeah, that's why you've been transferred for this school to this bird school to see if humans and birds can get along.
The left's truly gone too
Unironically, the
far.
plot.
Not only do we have co-eds, we have co-species heads. Good. Well, I'm so glad we went into the detail on that.
Yeah.
If you pull over to help someone whose car has broken down, remember not to rape them.
Well, there they go. Teaching men not to rape. Finally.
Is that what I thought that was a
this'll
kind of an
solve
outdated
everything.
meme at this point because it's so patently ridiculous.
No, I mean, finally they're doing it, so clearly rape will stop now.
It's a good point, actually.
And then no one will ever rape ever again.
Nope. It looks like all military men in here, so you might still have some non-military men that rape. All you got to do is tell
if
them
it's
not
the
to.
Marines, I mean, they eat crayons, so they might actually need this kind of assistance.
But they can't read that.
Oh, right, so that's not going to help either.
So it's not going to help them either, no. They'd have to have someone narrating it, but then they'd have to, memorize it every day.
It's a presentation. Right, yeah.
It might have been edited,
Maybe
I don't know.
they could, something with the crayons, like a positive reinforcement. If you repeat, hey, is rape bad? Yes or no? Think about it. And then if you answer correctly, you get your favorite flavor.
True, but how are they going to do the negative reinforcement? I mean, nothing's more effective. Yeah, I know, but nothing's more effective than the real thing. So are they going to have them...
A crayon?
No, not quite what I meant. Rape. Yeah, are they going to have them, put them in the scenario, and if they rape, they say, all right, no more crayons for you.
Yeah, there you go. You're cut off for, at least a week.
Yeah. I mean, they wouldn't stop the rape, but just the crayons.
Maybe not a whole week. I mean, that's cruel and unusual.
True. They need their crayons to live. Does the US, I'm sure it's just not, it's a secret, but they have a strategic crayon reserve, I assume.
Yeah. It's,
to an area and we use it and we airdrop it in an enemy territory.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah. That's what they drop first before they send in the Marines. They drop a massive load of crayons.
They drop a massive load, do they, Aiden? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Good. All right, next up. Rapist search.
I've seen this before. Yeah. Who could it be now?
Oh my God, it's him. It's Neil deGrasse Tyson.
There he is. Science black man.
It's Black Science Man.
Black Science Man.
Yeah. The Black Science Man. He's out raping again. I don't know why several of my memes today concern rape. That was actually unintentional. But yeah.
What did he mean by this?
What did he mean by this? Either way, rapist search. Chat, let me know if you find him. Found him. Next up. Homeland Security says remigrate. And this Twitter user says DHS openly calling for the removal of non-whites. A lot of people fucking wish they were.
Yeah, I know, right?
But no, they're not. If you're going to reserve the expression openly calling for when they actually say that, remigration from the government, who have never expressed any sort of explicitly racial policies, means illegal immigrants. It doesn't, and possibly legal under some circumstances. It doesn't mean non-whites.
Brown,
Many people wish
either.
it would, but it doesn't.
No, and I mean, by the way, there's a lot of people who come to the U.S. from Europe. So I mean,
yeah, they have a story on that today, actually.
So, but it's telling that that's what they think immigration means.
Yeah.
Is it means replacement migration of whites with non-whites.
Well, they think that their enemy all thinks about race all the time, which is ironic because their enemy doesn't.
They do.
A small portion of their enemy does, the identitarians, but they're not the ones in power. They, however, do. They care only about race. It's everyone else that doesn't.
And they hate white people.
Yes.
I mean, there is a
vast majority of the one left hates white
the vast
people.
Majority. The vast majority of them, yes, all the polling on that is very consistent. Meanwhile, yes, there absolutely, as we all know, is a portion of the right, broadly speaking, that genuinely is extremely racist.
Mm.
But
there are worse things
the
to
majority
be.
of the left.
There are worse things to be.
Yeah, I know, but that is the majority of the left. They are almost, I mean, at this point, there's so few leftist, centrist Democrats or whatever left, who I think don't hold at least a position that whites need to be punished in some way. For
you can see the fucking cuck pipeline that Dev took as well.
Right.
Thank you, Jada,
Yeah.
for excellently depicting this important cultural image.
I wasn't expecting to see. I wasn't expecting Doki Doki concentration.
Doki Doki
camp
concentration
today.
camp.
I gently opened the
Doki
front
Doki
gate.
Dachau. What the fuck?
Dachau
that's
Dachau
Auschwitz,
concentration
I think,
camp. Obliterature club. That's interesting. Opergruppen
oh
Führer.
no.
So, Aiden, who is best girl in DDLC?
I don't remember their fucking names now.
Fake fan.
Yeah, I haven't played it in years, and I didn't like it that much. If I'm being completely honest, I don't remember the pigeon's name either. I don't remember any of their names.
Chat, who is best girl in DDLC?
And I bought a plushie of it. And I don't even remember their names.
Is the plushie in your field of sight right now? Is it like if you turn around, is it behind you?
No, it's in the U.S.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Chat, whatever you're about to enter as the name, you're wrong. It's Natsuki. It's the tsundere, yes. All right, next thing. You. Right, so employment, hiring is a meme
God.
too. So this woman, who looks a lot like Anita Sarkeesian, doesn't she? But I assume she hasn't married
Dead
herself.
eyes, like a shark's eyes, you know?
Well, I think it's more like just dark eyes, like a non-Westerner, plus, for some reason, a ring light for this picture, but never mind, because you can see them reflected
There's
in the eyes.
something particularly soulless about that look, though.
Well,
Those are the eyes
given
of a psychopath.
given what she's
They
saying,
for you.
given what she's
Yeah,
saying,
it
I think
does
she
color
might
it.
be. Let's have a
Yeah.
look at what she's saying. She says, I once interviewed a candidate who said all the right things, but leaned so far into the camera, I thought he might crawl through the screen. Great resume, solid skills, but the vibe, pure desperation. Here's the truth. Recruiters can smell neediness faster than we smell coffee in the morning. Now, I haven't seen
Yeah.
what she saw, but it's quite possible that he was not, in fact, needy. It was just a quirk of how the camera was aligned or how he was sitting or something.
Oh no, they just get off on this. There's been a new study it was a Substack article that I've not been able to read all of yet. Helen Andrews posted it today, and basically everyone has been suggesting I read it, so I plan to later. But what some of the findings in this are that, for example, women reported in the 70s and 80s and such that men were preventing them from being able to get ahead. So they demanded that they be put into positions of authority and power. And specifically, that's why the entire field of human resources was created. And then what they proceeded to do was actively discriminate against men under them. So whether or not it was ever happening to women, or it was just a part of the fact that women had only recently entered the workforce in large numbers, and particularly in like the corporate workforce, and the whole idea of it was all new. They proceeded to do it back anyway, and do it now all the time. There was another tweet that went viral the other day of someone who works for some major company and took a picture of them in the office with their cat in a little cat harness sitting on their desk in like a cubicle, and they have their software for their HR stuff set up, and it's just set to like auto reject everyone. Got a busy day at the office of sitting here taking pictures with my cat and drinking my double soy latte while having all of these hires that I'm supposed to be looking over and carefully considering as my full-time job, for which I make probably something like $90,000 a year, set to auto reject.
Mm-hmm.
Very important stuff. And yeah, HR is a field invented by women for women to be mean girls. That's all it is.
Well, Aiden, what kind of person in the world consistently gets attention from people that they usually don't even bother sifting through for quality, but occasionally might pick someone out who they think is just the cream of the crop of the entire bunch, and then also complain about being lonely, sorry.
Gee, what group could that be describing?
What
I
group
don't
could that
know.
be? Yeah, and I know that you know how it is, getting constant marriage requests. Because you're very popular, very desirable. Many people would agree. I'm sure that you have. I'm sure that you just got a few since I said this sentence.
No. Many people are sending me marriage requests. So many marriage requests. They're the best. Or whatever.
Chat, press 1 if Tomboy Trump was surprisingly appealing. I wonder if we could, much the same way as the JF voice, I wonder if we could force Aiden to do a Tomboy Trump voice for an entire news story. So yeah, there's this, but then there's the reaction to it, which is CEO says, "Ha! Unemployment wave? Pah, these damn kids just don't want to work. Shelley, what's the reason you rejected that last applicant?" He desperately needed the job.
Yeah. Again, it's these women have all been fed a steady diet of feminist bullshit their entire lives, and they sit there and think, "Fuck all these men." Now, this is the interesting part of it. They say, "Fuck all men." I will automatically. You can hear them talk about it. I automatically reject all men. If I see your man on your thing, they brag about this stuff, then they cry about getting reported, and they never get fired. The other thing that those women do, though, is they also gatekeep other women, or at least hot ones. They make, with the women, yes, they want women, but they want other bitches. And they want specifically women who are less attractive than they are to try and maximize their sexual marketplace value at the same time. It's a really, at no point does merit enter into this at all.
Yeah. If companies were not essentially forced to have an HR department, it wouldn't be a problem because they could just outcompete. But to whatever extent the market is controlled either by moral panic or regulation, it gets fucked. Release those regulations and it'll be bad still for a few years, but it'll gradually level out, I reckon.
Yeah, to maximize their sexual marketplace value to what men? The higher ups, the ones they don't have any control over.
Yeah, the millionaires in the company.
Well, and not just them, but like at some point the company has to hire men. So I worked for an architecture engineering firm, right? For a while. And it's architecture and engineering. It's engineering. The vast majority of engineers are men. But I guarantee, everybody in a position that was not held by a man because he was an engineer or an architect in that company, so like anything else that had to be done, all women. Myself included, in the marketing department. So yeah,
Marketing department, we're doing your communications.
Yeah, before I went to grad school, I actually worked in the field for a little bit and decided I didn't like working in corporate.
Wow. Chat, Aiden has worked a day in her life.
Yeah, I've worked a couple of jobs.
Fair enough. All right.
Like real big lady, big boy pants, corporate stuff.
Fair enough.
I got my first corporate job when I was 19.
I'm so sorry for your loss.
No, it was great. I loved working there.
It doesn't sound like it.
No, not that. That was the place I worked at before. That was awesome.
All right.
Not the A&E firm. I didn't like that place so much. It was
I'm sorry
I didn't fit the culture.
I'm sorry for the loss of your apparent gain. Next up. Republicans protect pedophiles, but condemn a bunch of gays making Nazi jokes. Oh, gays, guys, sorry. This is kind of an aggressive generalization, but unfortunately, what with Trump and the cabinet have been doing with Epstein, this is one colossal blemish on their otherwise pretty good record that we cannot ignore. The condemning, I don't yet know, we'll look into it today, which Republican groups have condemned the people that sent these messages, because that's our main story. We'll get to that soon. I don't think all Republicans have. I don't know if Trump and his White House have, but some probably have. Probably more so the Rhino-aligned ones have, but mostly it's been the left doing it.
Yeah. I mean, J.D. Vance has stood up for these guys,
That's
essentially.
good.
Not super strongly, but he has. And the main thing to get to when you get to the article, I don't know if you're going to cover it or not, is the percentage of the text messages. It's 29,000 messages that were leaked. And of them, I think it was 348 or something like in that vicinity. Yeah. So it was a fraction of a percent of the messages had some kind of slur or some kind of offensive word in them. And by the way, I didn't see a single hard R.
What a shame.
Right. Yeah.
Can you remind me what word is the hard R word again, please?
Vinegar.
Without the V.
that one.
What if you say that without the hard R? Vinegar?
They, yeah. They
Is
said
that less
one
offensive?
a lot.
Actually, is it more offensive
yeah,
to
it
say
is.
vinegar than to say vinegar?
Well, this was a whole, I don't know anymore, but there was a whole carve out made for that for forever of being like, oh no, it's with the soft A, not the hard R. You can sing along with rap lyrics. We're not gonna, come and they do anyway, but we're not gonna, cancel you forever for singing rap lyrics that have the word nigga in them.
Yet.
And look, that's why I feel comfortable saying that. But, well, right. That changes constantly as to when it's convenient and we want to get rid of you. But yeah, I didn't see a hard R. I did see some F slurs. And by the way, one of the things they were so upset about was,
fruity?
we're going to, yeah, fruity, flamboyant.
Ah, yes.
Fierce.
Flaming.
Flaming. One of the ones they got really upset about was they made a gas chamber joke. But here's the thing. They made a gas chamber joke about the young Republicans. About them, it was about themselves. They're like, well, if the other people in the group don't go along with this, I guess we'll have to send them to the gas chambers. It was like clearly an in-joke and not intended in a violent way whatsoever. And by the way, the left has really lost any sort of high ground they ever pretended to have on the gas the Jews stuff, considering the Israel-Palestine crap they've been pulling for the last 2 years.
If they just keep pretending that that's a carve out, that doesn't count. It doesn't count when they do it. The thing is, unfortunately, if they just keep being really aggressive on enforcing censorship standards, then it can appear as if they're the ones with the right to. That's only because the press are so.
I guess. I mean, the way they tried to get around it was by calling them Zionists, but they fuck up constantly and say Jew when I mean Zionist, and then they say Jew. Oh, they say Jew, and then they say, oh no, I mean Israel, not the Jews. Yeah, they can't. That's what that community has become. Those tankies. That's what they've built their identity around for the last 2 years.
I put it to you this way: the left is China's pawns. The right, specifically the Rhino right, but unfortunately to a large extent the MAGA right as well, are Israel's pawns. And then the actual Westerners run basically MAGA, those that aren't also pawns of those foreign nations. The whole split between Israel and Palestine was a brilliant move by Israel to attack the left, because it only really split the left, it didn't split the right. And China's not happy about that. That's sort of how I see it. And I think that's pretty much it. Like, Israel's not good for the West, but it doesn't actually want to destroy the West. China does.
Well,
that's how I see it. That might not be right. I think that's close though.
No. It depends, I guess, on you. Maybe what you define destroy as.
I suppose.
If it's a ship of Theseus, is it destroyed?
Yeah, that may be what the goal is. I don't know if they're dumb enough to think that they can run it without the people that created it, or whatever.
No, they want like 25%, I would imagine, something in that vicinity.
Maybe
something enough to keep the lights on, but to feel completely in a position of learned helplessness, where you can't act out because you have to be terrified of the system you live in, where you are the minority. And all those things they talk about, how terrible it is to be a minority, how awful it is, how hard it makes daily life. It's because that's what they want to do to white people. It's not because it actually is in most cases. It's because the left constantly telegraphs what they want by saying this is happening to us, when really what they are saying is this is what I would like to do to you.
Yes.
Almost inevitably, they end up doing so with almost every situation.
We somehow need to find a way to inoculate people against Alinskyan tactics. They've had their time. They were very fucking effective, but now they're being used exclusively by evil people to destroy the greatest civilizations that have ever existed. I think it's time to become immune to them.
Whoa, so Alinsky's tactics would be used by evil people and good people would find them reprehensible?
Exclusively by evil people in the modern day, pretty much. Yes, Ted, exactly. All right, next thing. We'll come back to this story later. US carries out first federal execution in 17 years. Hashtag rip Yandere dev.
Wow.
Not the most useless, widely publicly visible game developer anymore.
Oh yeah, Pirate Software has surpassed Yandev.
Yep.
Really, that's an impressive feat.
Yep, it is. A legendary feat, even. So for the danger of losing the audience members who are merely autism golems, these are two separate stories. Yandere Dev, as far as we know, is either not dead by this means or not dead at all. But why is the Rip Yandere Dev? Did he actually die? Did he finally drown in the cum goblet?
I mean, that's what we've been predicting for years.
Yeah.
And he was going to fall into that cum chalice and drown.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, honestly, like I'm sure that's how he would like to go as he lived. In the cum chalice.
Yeah. Understood. How many times can Aiden say cum in as little time as possible?
What?
As Quattro says, do not sink in the cum. You should always rather come in the sink than sink in the cum. That's. Ghost says, I don't actually know who Yandere Dev is, and at this point I'm too afraid to ask. Okay, so imagine if you were a game developer, but you weren't exactly, how do I put this, good at it. But
imagine you were someone with no experience in game development, but you made a thread on V and had an idea for a game, and then decided, because you got a bunch of people saying they would like that game, to try and make it yourself.
The premise, you see, appealed to many, as it was a niche unyet filled. However, the person proposing the premise was not capable of successfully filling that niche, because he couldn't make the game. And so for years did he toil, making ultimately a game that was almost as unplayable as a modern AAA UE5 title. Until came along an even worse developer, Pirate Software. But yeah, Yandere is the premise of the game. I think you were playing as the Yandere. You would know it, and you're a big fan of Yanderes.
So the premise is, it's essentially
no
Hitman.
argument on that. Okay.
I am. I love Mirai Nikki. It's one of my favorite anime. Anyway, so yeah, the premise of the game is more or less, or the gameplay aspect is just Hitman gameplay. You use environmental stuff and different tricks to get someone to go to a certain place at a certain time, and then set it up so that you can try to hide as you kill a bunch of different of your rivals who are vying for your senpai's attention. So you have to take out, the premise is you have to take out the 5 other girls so that finally senpai will be yours and notice you.
What do you do when someone vies for your senpai's attention, Aiden?
I don't know. Who's my senpai?
I don't know. She lied as easily as she breathed.
What? No, who would be my senpai? Like Curtis Yarvin?
Sure. Or someone. Or
Regis
someone.
Moldbug?
Or someone.
Yeah, like, I'm trying to think, on YouTube or like academically. I guess, I don't know. I'd have to first, I don't know is the answer to the question.
Eventually, perhaps you'll figure it out. So,
I don't know.
What is it? This is screenshots of the Yandere Dev development process. Quattro's posted. This user says, Yandere Dev Simulator fans from 2014, friends also in the same boat, got banned for one word. Not really a fan if you're giving bold criticism. Really? This guy says, criticism is how a game improves, to which Yandere Dev says, I don't agree with that.
This is some of the least egregious shit. That was what was most insufferable about him, is that people, first of all, were paying for him to do this on a monthly basis for years. And we're trying to give him advice, people offered to work and did work for him for free just to try and get the game made. And he refused to listen to any of their suggestions on how to code.
So I know that he is known for not taking criticism, but the last 2 messages here arrived in the same minute. It's possible that his message was not meant to respond to the second one here, but to the first one. But given his reputation, it's more likely it's the second. But it's possible it wasn't.
He also is like was terminally online, so yes. I can imagine he typed that in very quickly.
As Pierre says, Cum Chalice speedruns are still my favorite part of the entire thing. I do remember that. It was funny. People joining his server and seeing how quickly they could get banned for mentioning the Cum Chalice or something. I believe the record was under a second because he had some automation and someone joined with Cum Chalice in their name and they were instantly banned.
To be fair, I think Pirate Software did like that exact thing, didn't he? Or did I dream that?
It would be interesting if he had.
Tactic.
You know,
I mean, that was pretty bad.
Aiden, I hadn't thought of it this way, but yeah, it kind of is just Hitman but anime girls, which is
that's
which
literally
is
what it
actually
is.
a pretty. And look at the first related GIF as well, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there it is.
Mm-hmm. But that's actually a good selling
you know.
point for what this game is. I'd even consider playing it with that name.
No, it is
With that,
like a
premise.
decently fun kind of premise.
Yeah.
But he's also like a weirdo and couldn't make it fun either, or because you'd have to be, I think, kind of stupid and silly about it. But he
Yeah.
took it very seriously, obviously, which is, magnum anus or whatever. I think that's how you pronounce that word.
Yeah.
And-
yeah. Magnum in the anus. Quattro is asking to come on and explain the android thing. My intention is not to talk about it for too long, but if you'd like to come on and sort of explain a bit for people that maybe not be familiar with it, go for it. But we won't spend too long on it. But yeah, hop on whenever you like.
Oh, the tiny build stuff. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Welcome, Quattro.
Well, hey.
Hello.
Hello. So, for those who aren't aware, Tiny Build decided that they would do him a favor and send him one of their developers at one point, because they realized this idea has a lot of promise. A lot of people are very interested in this. We could both make a lot of money from it. His Patreon, very successful at the time. So they send him one of their developers. The developer looks over the code, goes, "Holy fuck, what are you doing? We need to clean this up. We will optimize this. We'll get it running good, and we'll make exponential progress once that's done." He did not like
Right.
that.
Yeah. Well, he wanted his code to be used and he didn't want them changing it. Wasn't it basically that?
He had insisted that all of his code that he had already made was to be used, and that any extra code that was added to the project had to be in his style, quote unquote.
That sounds like he just got
infinite else if loops.
It sounds like he just got mind broken by people criticizing him and him always doubling down to the point that he couldn't even allow anyone else to do something in a different style because his version of the code had to be the right style at that point.
I totally forgot about the tiny build involvement. That the game, there was every reason that game should have been finished and made. The problem was always Yondev.
Always.
Did he just put
the
whey
thing
powder
is-
in milk or something? Or did he actually fill that cup?
That's a big old goblet full of milk.
He is known for a great many things, including his posts on random forums about his Samus sex doll that he made.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that too. There's so many bits of lore to this guy.
He, much like Pirate Software, didn't actually spend the majority of his time programming or making anything. He would rather spend his time on either forums talking about his sex doll or banning people from his Discord.
Yeah.
I never encountered anything about this, but I was watching it from afar. The code that he had written that was widely publicized, some of the criticisms weren't reasonable, or some of the code itself was okay when people had said it was
people
terrible.
did go
I disagree with some of it.
because it was popular to do so.
But most of it was pretty crap. Yeah, obvious amateur stuff. The if-else chains, for example.
Well, it also just made it so that because he didn't understand. Didn't he also have a major problem with arrays? Wasn't that an issue there too?
Yeah.
Where it basically there was so much code. Yeah, like oh my god, holy shit! The way he's chosen to do it, which it makes sense if you have.
This isn't real.
It makes sense because.
There's no way. There's no way. There's no way.
No way. That's what I don't know though. Okay.
It's in the right language.
All right, there you go.
But
no,
yeah, here's
it is
here's
real.
an
I wouldn't be
FLs.
surprised.
So calculate affection. Okay, okay. I'll defend this. This is bad, and he shouldn't do it this way, obviously. But if you ever want to change the margins between these levels, then this is the correct structure of code to use, or at least it's a fine structure of code to use. The way it is right now, yeah, you should just divide by 4, or whatever exactly it would be. But if he ever wanted to change it to make a smoother curve or something, and you needed to convert it from a smooth gradient of numbers to a fixed set of categories, then having it in this structure would make that easier. So this is actually arguably future-proofing the code to make it more extensible later. It's way too verbose, and if he doesn't change it, it's a total waste. But
the problem is there were so many.
The compiler will just compile this down to that anyway.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter.
Right.
Performance-wise,
the other thing is too that was a major issue is that he was using pre-made assets. Eventually, he started to get assets made for the game, but like the school and all that stuff were pre-made assets. And he just downloaded them all off the Unity store. So there were some things, like there was a toothbrush in the game that had how many polygons in it? You know, like this massively detailed toothbrush for like, I don't know, educational models. I have no idea why this toothbrush had so many freaking polygons, but and just left it in there. And that, of course, absolutely tanks the game's performance. So, when people did get a chance to play it, it ran at a nice, smooth, like 15 FPS at like extremely low draw distance. Yeah. Which is a big mess. Yes. Oh my God, the toothbrush.
Originally designed for realism in CGI commercials, but Yandere Dev decided to put it in the game as a small decoration.
Wow. What a genius.
I mean, this could be like 10 to 15 polys for a toothbrush, and yet this one's 5,500.
So this wasn't just like a one-time thing. This was a regular occurrence of something that he would do. Not only that, but because he was using, I believe it was Unity, there was a lot of pre-made modules that he had dropped in. And then a bunch that he should have used but didn't, you see. As a result, every single frame had hundreds of thousands of calculations that needed to be run. And when this released back in 2014, the first versions of it, do you know what kind of FPS you would expect? Take a wild guess.
More like SPF.
It was comparable to that of a PowerPoint slideshow.
Yeah.
Well, that's SPF, seconds per frame.
Yes. Exactly.
Pug, I'm not sure if it would be the original, but you can decompile code into a heuristic assessment of what the original probably looked like. But I don't know in Unity if you can get the actual original. You may be right about that. Because I know, I think...
Yeah, it is fully reversible.
I thought is C# a runtime, but I thought it would therefore... I don't know much about C#, but I assumed it would convert into bytecode like Java does and then run in the runtime, or is compiled, or internally. It just does that internally. But maybe it is interpreted, I don't know. But yeah, Ravelon makes the point of the Starfield 100,000 polygon cube, one of the boxes for the thing is with that is... or the apples with a huge amount. The raw number of polys is not necessarily a performance issue. Modern hardware has like different amounts of. It's good at different things at different times. So you can, if your game has performance issues in other areas, then you could crank up the number of polys and it wouldn't actually bottleneck it. And most modern cards can handle a lot of polys. However, there's also the issue of some game engines can optimize that better. And of course, with the 100K poly cube, that might be the LOD 0, and you'd have other LODs that would be more likely to load during the actual game. That's just the maximum if you're right up next to it. So there are some exceptions to that, but I mean, there isn't here. But still, the poly count is not the end of the story. But the thing with the cube is even if you're right up close to it, there's no need to have 100,000 polys. So that one was pretty extreme, and this obviously we can see what happened. But yeah.
Yeah, see, part of the problem as well is because Unity is not made to handle these sorts of things, it shits itself regularly.
Cybersmith, welcome. I mentioned the glory of your bodice earlier to Aiden here. And I wonder if perhaps you'd like to come on and we can find something to chat about. Perhaps we can have a healthy disagreement. P.S. says, game engines aren't capable of properly translating anything like this into anything optimized because there is the assumption that game devs won't be able to retest. Yeah, unless you're using something like Nanite in UE5, which is its own set of problems. you don't get auto LODs. You have to do it manually, and he didn't for this. Yeah, no, I'm more defending Starfield. Not that I'm defending Starfield in general, but just AAA games when they do high poly counts does not necessarily mean they're badly optimized. But that was pretty excessive anyway. Understood, Cybersmith. Maybe I drag you on. Roman says, put him on the air. Fuck yeah. Chat, press 1 if you're going to leave when I put Cybersmith in the host room. Ghost says, say, isn't Cabby supposed to be a yandere? No, she's not. If anything, she is a tsundere. Okay, all those twos are people saying they want Cybersmith in the stream. So Cybersmith, I shall drag you in. Come on, Discord. Okay, that's okay. There we go. Welcome,
Hello.
Cybersmith. Welcome
Hi.
to the stream.
Hi.
Hello.
Right. The other day you were tweeting about me. I saw, and
Oh yeah.
we were talking
also,
about
in about 10 minutes. I'm going to have to go back through to take a pie out of the oven, and then I'll come back through.
All right,
Yeah,
no worries.
So like in 10 minutes, I'll be gone for like 3 to 5 minutes, but then I'll be right back.
And I mentioned to Aiden about the Tomb of Gilgamesh and the DNA that they went to the Iraq War in Part 4, and the notion that it's possible that 9/11 was done to distract from the surprise birthday party of Abel's friend that you proposed. And so I've given Aiden a sort of basic introduction, but I'm hoping that we can sort of clash you against each other. Do you know of Aiden, Cybersmith?
I am vaguely familiar with Aiden. I agree with some of the things she says. I think I like recent Doctor Who more than she does. But yeah, I am slightly familiar with Aiden. I actually just popped into Makeup because I saw you were posting about that private chat that got leaked. So yeah, that's my position. If they're going to let Jay Jones keep running for AG or for so long as he serves as AG, do not punish any of those people in the chat. Do not unilaterally disarm. If there's going to be a standard that even in private you should moderate your conversations to the highest standard of civility, that is a reasonable thing for society to try to maintain as a virtue. But that cannot be unilateral. That has to be a universally agreed upon value. If left-wingers are not going to disavow their own members who do that, it is absolutely foolish for the right to do it. So I think JD Vance has absolutely the right position. So long as Jay Jones is running or serving as AG, no compromise on that issue at all. None of those people in the chat should be punished.
So that is certainly one way of looking at it. My perspective was going to be a pretty simple free speech perspective, but yeah, you flipped around the other way. I quite like that. Let's go on to
free speech. Of course, none of them should be legally prosecuted.
Yeah.
There is that question of standards, though. Yeah, there's a difference
but
between
even the social prosecution.
Punishing people, yeah.
I'm not a fan of social prosecution for naughty words either. I think our society is way too sensitive to it. The notion of needing emergency words to make something seem more important that kids shouldn't be saying because they don't know when things are really important, I think that makes sense. But beyond that, the sensibilities of offense and of collective guilt and all that shit, it's a complete waste of time, complete detriment. That should be gone.
I think if you're not going to have dueling, you need some kind of standard, because we used to maintain standards like this via dueling. If you said something that was egregiously offensive, the other person would duel you. If we're not going to have that, then I think we do need some standard for conversation. Otherwise,
the standard already exists
totally breaks down.
in person because high media richness, but online it doesn't, and we shouldn't be trying to force it through social pressure. It should only exist where everyone wants it to. Otherwise, the groups will naturally shift and form around where they want to go. But going beyond that to try and prevent others from doing it, I think is way too far.
Yeah, and certainly, if the left wing is not going to
Indeed.
take that penalty to throw out its own people when they cross the line, it would be ridiculous for the right to do it.
I mean, we had this picture earlier: young Republican, haha, gay. Meanwhile, young Democrat, old Democrat, Democrat teacher, Democrat nurse, Democrat candidates. I'm glad we murdered Charlie Kirk.
Absolutely, yeah. Jezebel is still has its article up where they hired witches who there is some evidence to suggest were factors in Charlie Kirk's death, though I know that is disputed. If Jezebel isn't facing consequences, no, absolutely not. We can talk about standards, but only if those standards are going to be universally enforced.
Let's breeze past
the discussion about what there should be consequences for socially, But if those consequences are only going to go one way, then no, it's absolutely right to shut that down immediately.
Let's breeze past the witches for now, because we already discussed that on another stream. Let's cover this story. 4chan faces UK ban after refusing to pay stupid fine. Ofcom says website has flagrantly failed to engage with Online Safety Act. As a UKian myself, I am on 4chan's side here, as you might imagine.
Absolutely. I think the way the Online Safety Act has been interpreted, and the way a lot of acts have been interpreted by the government, is not to say let's be civil. It's essentially to say we can decide certain points of view are offensive, and then look for reasons to shut those points of view down. It's insanely, ludicrously partisan. So I think approaching this as though it is a good faith discussion about standards and civility, you've already conceded too much. This is not being enforced reasonably. This is not being enforced from a position of neutrality. It is already, I think, a mistake to concede that this is about civility or adherence to a universal standard of virtue.
So I have a point that I think we should all consider. This is deeply anti-Semitic because they're trying to get in the way of rabbis posting their favorite BBC pornos.
Damn, you got a lot of layers deep very quickly there. Yes, indeed. But yes, Cybersmith, the front-facing reason is not about civility or about general standards. It's about protecting children. But notably, they are pursuing 4chan, which I think, despite the fact that 4chan refuses to do the age verification thing, so that gives them their like on paper casus belli.
But
I think it's pretty clear that that's not what they intend to do with it.
It's a U.S. country. It's a U.S. company. They have absolutely.
Let's be clear about that, though. On paper casus belli, they do have within the UK. So what they're saying is not you must shut down. They're saying if you want to be allowed by UK ISPs, you have to pay the fine. 4chan's well within the right to say no, because they're not based in the UK. Otherwise, they could be prosecuted. But with the allegiance between the UK and the US, maybe they could get this to happen. But with Trump in the White House, it's much less likely. Maybe UK government will try and get it to happen in a local US court or something. But not very likely. Either way, the fine is on the premise of if you want to keep doing business here, essentially.
I think Donald Trump should basically just say the internet is a big part of the American economy. If the UK is going to attempt to use these laws in a way that harms us, we are well within our rights to tariff Britain. Like, at this point, I've got a master's degree in software engineering. I'm applying to jobs in the local supermarket so that I don't go broke. The economy is screwed. Frankly, the value of the pound could crater, and it would really only be to my advantage, because that would make it easier to pay off my credit card. At this point, Donald Trump, feel free to wage economic warfare against our government so that they start respecting our freedoms.
Alas, I must largely agree.
You will be greeted as liberators. Yeah, you will be greeted as liberators.
Invasion is unnecessary, because that's where that term originally comes from. But economic tariffs and attacks on Starmer for his shitty policies. Yeah. I think I doubt you'll need them in the future, only really for this government.
Yeah, don't worry, you'll get Farage and he won't change a single damn thing.
Well,
and you'll
he
still
might.
have digital ID and you'll still have Ofcom doing this shit.
He might. He has said that he has said that
he
has said that he wants to get rid of it. I don't know if he actually will, but he said he does. So
Thou shalt not
we'll see what happens.
Thou shalt not blackpill.
Did you see Jeremy Clarkson is debating standing for Ed Miliband's seat?
Yes, I did see. We covered that last stream. It's interesting, Aiden.
Did we?
It's interesting.
Did we cover that last stream?
I think I did. Yeah, it's interesting though, Aiden. That
I did on my stream.
You'll jump in to badmouth Farage and then say, "Oh, but Clarkson." Meanwhile, Farage shares far more of your beliefs.
Yeah, Clarkson's a shitpost. That's why I like that, and I hate Ed Miliband.
Yeah, that's true. But Clarkson is still mostly like a boomer neolib.
Yeah.
As far as I know, last time I checked, like he dislikes socialists, but that's and like is pro farmer, but that's about where the commonalities end. Otherwise, I think he's still pretty much mostly like a boomer Lib Dem voter.
Not quite.
There is, but I think you have to give
he is
some
pro
degree.
firearms. He is
that's new.
Generally anti-bureaucracy in any form.
Pro farm. That's
he wants to shrink the government.
But he's anti-Brexit, and it's entirely driven by his.
He has been.
No, it's
I'm not sure if he
it's
still is.
because of the, it's
flipped on that in
totally,
the end.
it's all about the cars though for him. Like, his position on that is entirely about his ability to buy cars.
He's also pro-farm, and there is the legitimate issue. If we keep making it impossible for farms to continue being farms, we will not be able to grow food here, and we're an island. We're vulnerable to blockade if we can't grow our own fucking food. Like, this is legitimately something we saw during COVID. International shipping lanes are not indestructible ironclad institutions that will never ever fail. You need to be able to grow your own food. I also think we should be able to I think every town of more than a few thousand people should be able to manufacture its own insulin. I am actually very much in favor of ruggedizing our infrastructure so that we can't be subject to shutdowns and disruptions of global supply chains. But at the very least, I support Clarkson wanting us to be able to grow our own food. And on the topic of food, I will be back. I'm just going to go attend to my pie and chips.
No worries.
So I'll be back in like 5 minutes. Don't boot me off the call.
No worries. Yeah, what I say about Clarkson there is mostly information from last time I heard him talk about politics, which is many years ago. Cybersmith has left his microphone on, which is very helpful. Mostly from many years ago, so maybe his politics have changed since then, and I have said that on previous streams that I'm open to that being the case. But I think probably mostly his beliefs are still in the sort of Lib Dem camp. So Womon, no, he's not a lolbert. I think I'd rather he was. But in terms of politicians or potential politicians in the UK who our beliefs actually align with, the closest that has any chance of picking up public support is still Farage. I put it to you. Whether chance of public support, he has some, but nowhere near enough to win any votes.
Look, I know you won't like my language behind in this, but yeah, Farage is being cycled in. He's up next. I think
disagree.
That's unquestionable.
I disagree, but we will have. The thing is, we'll have to find out because he looks like he's going to win by a huge landslide. We'll find out.
Yeah.
And if he is crap, then I will join with whoever is up next.
And
whoever
when
is a better
digital
option,
ID
even if
does
they
not
are
get
more extreme.
rescinded, and when this silly Ofcom shit. Also, the thing about this too, with the 4chan fine too, is that they have dropped it from when they initially said it was going to be. The initial threats were ridiculous. It was something I can't remember what it was, but it was something like £1 million a day or something crazy. And now they've dropped it to being, I think it would essentially be like £250,000 a year or something like that. So it's something that a company could actually reasonably just eat, provided that it passed through the courts in the first place, which I think it's probably very unlikely to. 4chan is based in the United States.
Yeah.
A lot of these
Under
websites
Trump, I don't
are,
think it's going to happen.
The UK just has no ability to actually enforce this, which really it looks like an extremely weak move while attempting to make like a power play ends up coming off as quite weak and pathetic.
It's a
Even
very
with this,
bad idea.
they walked back what they're threatening to fine 4chan
The
with.
most that'll happen, and probably Starmer's ego won't allow him not to do this, is that they'll just ban it UK-wide. You should already have been using a VPN for almost everything, especially 4chan. So it's going to make almost no difference to anyone that actually uses it in the UK. It's just small dick syndrome activity from Starmer, which one hopes and one thinks
a lot of what
one thinks fairly likely will be mostly undone after Starmer's gone. But let's find out. I'll read a bit of the article. The controversial online forum 4chan risks, this is from The Independent, left-wing source, risks being blocked in the UK after refusing to pay a fine from Ofcom for breaking rules set by the Online Safety Act. Say what you want about 4chan. It's not quite what it used to be, and I'm not that familiar with it, but watching it from the sidelines, it has changed over the years. Its ownership management has changed. I've heard it's not as good as it used to be. But they're at least saying no to this, and maybe that's just something almost any company would do in this situation, because why would they obey? But 4chan seems to not care. Perhaps also it's because I doubt 4chan is brilliantly profitable, so maybe they just can't pay.
Look, the thing that you're going to run up against here is that 4chan is a glow-fed op and has been for a long time. It's an asset of the United States government. It has been for a long time on some level, actively owned by the government. Is it the U.S. government? Is the Israeli government? Some government basically owns 4chan, and it's containment. It's exactly there to be a honeypot and other shit like that. So I don't think whatever government does own 4chan is going to be willing to give it up.
Unfortunately, I suspect that is largely true. I don't know if it's 100%, but it's got a lot of influence from sources. Who exactly it is that owns it, I don't know. And why, if it is a glow up, they Well, I'm not sure. What would a glowy op do in this situation? Maybe this is what they would do, but maybe it's a matter of blackmail. Just don't do these things, and we'll let you keep running it, rather than it being literally owned and operated by the feds. So I'm not sure.
Right. It's never, or it's almost never in that direct sort of, ownership capacity. It's always in a, back alley kind of way. Well, we'll just allow you to, continue on doing this, essentially. We'll look the other way.
Okay, since Cybersmith joined the stream, our viewers have gone up by like 50%. What did you do?
Hey.
But yeah.
So this is the secret that you needed to find.
Cybersmith's mic is just locked open, so he's constantly on the screen here. It's constantly open. Yes, as Ghost says, Cybersmith is Cabal's greatest treasure. I think it's a coincidence, but it's a hell of a coincidence, isn't it? Welcome, those of you that are in chat. If you are not in Cabal, please do join. That's where most of the interaction goes. I will try to read the YouTube chat. I'm keeping an eye on it today. But if you are in Discord, and you would like to watch on YouTube, it might help to promote the channel in the algorithm and bring more people to Cabal. So there's the link. If you just want to have it open, that would help. But there are more people listening on YouTube than there are on Discord by 10. So I think we are picking up more than just who's in Discord. But yeah, anyway. Thank you, JPEG. Yes, JPEG says remember to like the stream. Do appreciate that, because I think it's about time to grow the channel and the community. Cybersmith, I can't believe all that talk about him needing to go AFK, and he forgot to mute his mic.
Sorry about that. What did I miss?
You missed yourself broadcasting sounds from your house onto the stream for the last 5 minutes.
Sorry about that. Gosh, these chips are lovely.
That's important information. All right.
I'm happy to post the recipe. It's the same one I used for that video.
Does it contain any Gilgamesh DNA?
No.
Any Nephilim DNA? Maybe that's why it tastes so good. Okay, anyway, continuing. The website which hosts adult content, I mean, yes, it does, but it's not just for that, was handed a £20,000 fine for failing to share information about the risk of illegal content on its platform. Okay, so it's for that. It's not for the age thing.
Well, hang on. No, that is sort of the cover story for it, essentially, because that's what they've run with is that, oh, this website has CP on it. Now, that has, of course, been against the rules on 4chan for forever. It is it's based in the United States. So you're talking about breaking federal law in the United States to host that stuff. So 4chan, does not have, it used to, many, many years ago, like pre-2006. Yeah, you probably could have found some weird shit on, like, illegal stuff on there.
Cybersmith, would you mind not,
been 20 years.
Would you mind not loudly eating directly in front of your open mic, please?
Oh, sorry.
You've got a bad impression of Cybersmith so far, Aiden. As far as you know so far, he has reasonable politics and loud eating habits, and one hint of an opinion that is more so the thing I wanted you to hear about.
So far, this is the most reasonable I've seen.
Yeah, this is the longest he's been normal.
So
sorry about
4chan, 4chan already does not. I mean, they already are heavily incentivized against allowing any of that stuff on their website and deleting it instantly if it gets posted, and reporting that stuff to the feds. So no, 4chan is it's a public-facing website. It is not on the dark web. You can go to Google, type in 4chan, and find it. This is not a hidden website in any way. Yeah, it's on the ClearNet. So no, there's no CP or anything illegal on 4chan. And if it gets posted there, just like as any other website, it gets deleted immediately. And as far as I know, too, they send the IP over to the feds. And I think they're required to. So this was a thing they already do, and I guess work with the U.S. government on where they're based. So it's a weird thing to ask for when that's not what they're asking about, and at all. They just don't like the website. And they want to squeeze pennies out of that. I mean, I think that's also a big part of it.
Well, the UK government is well within its right to say that you can't operate in this country anymore. It's within its right to. It's a really shitty idea, and they have a bad excuse for doing it here, and I don't want them to. Yeah. And it's a bad idea, not just for people in the country, but for the government as well and their image, right? It's bad all around, but it's not like they're going beyond their remit here. They are saying either you're allowed to operate in our country and you pay our fines, or you're not. So that is within their remit. It's just a bad idea.
There's only two options. Either you threaten every single website in existence, with these legal fines, which is impossible. You keep making these threats, which again makes the entire country look pathetic when you're just going after random websites and basically begging for money. That's what it looks like from an external perspective, I just got to say. Or you do what China does and build a firewall around the whole country. And so that then the British government gets to decide what websites they allow in.
Unfortunately,
which
Aiden,
makes way more sense, but almost like it's not about that because that would make way too much sense.
Unfortunately, Aiden, the use of the word "or" there might not have been the most long-term stable choice because they probably want to do the latter if they can get away with it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
it's-
don't think our economy would sustain that. I don't think we could
It
lose
sure
that
wouldn't.
much access.
It sure wouldn't. No, it would not help.
At this point, I really do think that it's time for royal prerogative. It's time for King Charles to put his foot down and say, "You are so unpopular. You are acting
I agree.
so far outside of any kind of legitimate mandate that it is time for fresh elections."
Unfortunately,
You cannot reasonably justify not calling an election when you have lost the public faith to so clear a degree.
I have a few things to say about that. I am not against the UK having a monarch. I would be against it being absolute, but I'm not against it having one. Unfortunately, our current monarch would never do that because he's not in favour of the country he rules over. However, if a monarch were to call an election right now, we would almost certainly get a better government, even if you think he would be containment or whatever else. It's not as bad as Labour is now.
You could elect a literal dog and it would be an improvement.
I mean, yeah, doing nothing would be better than Labour. Or even the Conservatives.
Somehow.
There is already
I don't
evidence-
know.
There is already evidence that he
About that
intends to do this. There was a film about this a few years ago, before he even became king.
Yes, but the movie, I don't believe, refers to any current present situation. I believe
The
that is a
last two
fiction.
monarchs by the name of Charles have dissolved Parliament. And not to
Unfortunately.
relitigate the modal realism
That
debate,
is true. That actually
but
is true.
fiction does, but I don't think it being fictional means we can discount it.
I think it does mean that we can discount it
Based.
as direct evidence. However, it
Dissolve
can be
Parliament
used. It can be
forever.
used as inspiration. But the last two Charleses dissolving Parliament is interesting, but it's not even much of a coincidence. Unfortunately, I don't think this one's going to, unless we get a good government. Then he will.
No, just dissolve it forever. Bye-bye. Return to absolute monarchy. Farmer based.
Yeah,
We've
unfortunately,
never-
I don't
we've
think
never
our
really
monarch
had
would be very good for being absolute. But yeah, Simon Smith, I think, is about to say,
where I
100
agree
years, we haven't really had an
with
absolute
Ivan
monarch.
Cullen. We've never had an absolute monarch. King John I tried to be an absolute monarch and was immediately shut down for it. We have never had absolute monarchy. The Magna Carta didn't invent the concept of limited monarchy; it just codified it. The Anglo-Saxon people and the Anglo-Norman people have always lived under limited monarchy. This idea that we used to have absolute monarchy, then monarchy's powers were reined in. No, one king tried to step outside of the bounds of conventional monarchy and was immediately reined in for it. It's a little bit like the USA saying, well, it was always the standard for presidents to have 3 terms. No, it was always understood that presidents could have 2 terms. One president went outside that and they said, okay, we're going to write the rule down. Rules generally exist in society before they are formally codified.
Yeah, that's
and the
well
rule
said.
about not having absolute monarchy was always present in our society. It just wasn't codified until then. Damn, I'm glad I used so much salt in this. This is delicious.
This is a very libertarian island, this one, despite its current state, and despite the fact that the libertarian elements were exported to a country that's now much more libertarian. It is still, historically, a very libertarian island. There was the absolute monarchy doesn't really work with this kind of people. But we've been democratic to some extent for 800 years. And we don't have a monarch worthy of being absolute either.
Yeah, that's a big part of the problem. But I
And,
mean,
Ardent says
I don't have a
monarcho-capitalism
solution to
look
it.
to Liechtenstein. Liechtenstein is one guy's
Yeah.
estate. It's a tiny, tiny country, and it's irrelevant on the world stage. It could not exist without the support and the proximity of the countries around it. It could not exist. Same thing with Monaco and other small countries, especially some of which are
Luxembourg.
monarchist. Monarchy, I'm not saying it's way worse than democracy. I think it's worse, but it's not way worse. The smaller your system, the more likely it is to work as well. But once it gets big enough, I think you do need democracy instead.
I know you can't read, but you really should. I don't know. And here's the thing: there's no audiobooks of it. But Eric von Kunat Lieden, which I've talked to you about before, he makes a case for how a monarchy can and probably should include democratic elements, as it often has. So I like his model.
I think they have an elected monarchy in Indonesia, or is it maybe?
I don't
there
mind
are some countries in the world where there is an elected monarchy. We used to have that in the Witenagemot. I believe.
Yeah.
Some of our previous kings, such as Harold, were elected. We had an elected
yes,
elected by an elite electorate, though, which I would just describe as which is basically the same thing as an absolute monarch, except put in by those with the keys to power.
The USA has its electoral college, and so did the Holy Roman Empire.
Yes, as I said, I don't really have a problem with having, how do we say, a ruler who is considered executive, a single ruler above the others. I don't